Hi, this is Jim Rapon with Seattle Real Estate Chat, episode 50. And today we have a guest with us, Brian Copley from Every Home, but also my co-host Rhonda is here with us as well. Rhonda, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, thanks, Jim. I'm Rhonda Porter. I'm a licensed loan officer with Mortgage Master Service Corporation, and I'm the author of the blog, The Mortgage Porter.
Great. And how about you, Brian?
Well, thank you guys so much for having me this morning. My name is Brian Copley. I'm the CEO at Every Home, and we believe that every home is for sale. I'd love to talk with you more about that today.
Great, yeah, and that's the main focus of today's topic of today's discussion. Brian, I've looked at your site a little bit, and I have some questions about it. Initially, I thought it was just for consumers who were looking to buy a home, but maybe that home wasn't for sale. You've got a really catchy little introduction video. I was going to play it here this morning, but I don't want to take up the time. I'll put a link to it in the link show links. But if you go to the website, I think it pops up right away. It gives people kind of a situational understanding of when people are having to get in multiple offers and frustrated they can't buy a home, but yet there's a home they've seen in the past that they wish they could buy. And what you're telling them is that that home's probably for sale, and you're there to facilitate it. Is that correct?
That's absolutely right. That video really kind of shows the pain that a lot of buyers are going through right now, especially in King County. If you look at the data, last month was the worst month in history for buyers going to look for homes. We've got, I think, 0.7 or 0.8 months of home supply on the market right now for single-family residences. And what that ends up looking like is a couple people looking for a property like you might find on our homepage, and they're just pulling their hair out, making offers, and someone else outbids them, and they make another offer, and they get outbid, and it just is happening over and over. So we decided to make a video for that. Please take an opportunity to go watch it. There's a couple guys from Armory Pacific, local company here, put that together, and we had a lot of fun making it. But we do believe that you can go out and let someone know that you're interested in their home, and they may actually be thinking about selling.
And before anybody that's watching this runs out and tries to log into it, I just want to warn you: it's the URL is not a .com; it's a .co. So I got redirected to that other person or other company's site a couple times and had to kind of go, oh yeah, and go back and make sure. So it's everyhome.co, correct?
You got it. Thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, as a broker, I experience exactly what you're talking about all the time with buyers. It's really frustrating for them. I'm trying to hold their hand through this process, and it's a yo-yo. I mean, it's literally maybe a roller coaster is more of a better analogy, because they are so high that they find a home they want, and then they find out there's 7 to 10 other offers, and they compete really well. They typically go over list price substantially, waive various contingencies, maybe do pre-inspections and spend a bunch of money, and then they lose anyway. And that's an extremely depressing situation, especially as it happens over and over again, and they've invested money and all that kind of stuff. So I've also noticed that when I logged into the site, it seems to now not be really set up where you can just kind of browse it without at least putting in a lot of information. Is that correct?
Yeah, we'd like to know something about your search. If you're a buyer, we'd like to find out where you want to live, what type of property you want, so that we can give you the best possible experience. There are, I think, 8.3 or 8.4 million homes that we can give you access to in Seattle, Boston, LA, San Francisco, and San Diego now. That's where the site's functional, and we really just want to direct your experience in such a manner that you're looking at properties you may be interested in. So we ask you for a little bit up front, but we think that that translates into something that makes sense for you in your search.
Okay. Rhonda, do you have any questions about this?
No, I tried to snoop around it a little bit this morning to get more of a grasp for the site. I think it's fascinating, and I noticed that some of the buyers come up because I put in we have a rental property, so I put in that. A little information about that. We're not ready to sell it yet or anything like that. I would actually like to sell it to our renter, but it was interesting. It's like what popped up was all of a sudden, like, there's this many people, and there's a percentage associated with the person. Some are pre-approved, some are not. It's was pretty cool. I mean, of course, I wanted to like click on the people and say, okay, are you really pre-approved? What's going on?
Yeah, and I had those kind of questions too, Brian. Is there a way for a broker like me to participate? Because it sounds like you're facilitating in a way the brokerage connection of that buyer and that seller, and they may not see a need for us, at least until you get to contractual stages. Is that the case, or is there a way for that to happen?
I would really like to see brokers logging in and creating an account for each of their buyers looking for homes, and allow the buyers to go in, and if you find a property you like, you can click a heart on it, and that actually saves the heart on a map. And if a buyer, let's say, spends an hour and they're looking for properties they're interested in, I think it'd be great if they were to then email or text their broker and say, I've found these 40 properties in Capitol Hill or in West Seattle where there are no properties on the market that fit what I'm looking for, and I'd like to target these. And we essentially give you our cost to contact those owners. So you're looking at $1 an envelope. We do color envelopes. We've sent out over 13,000 of these indications of interest, and we're finding out what works. So we're sending out the best performing targeted mailer that we can. And then I think there's a great opportunity for brokers to then say, hey, I have this buyer who's very motivated to live where you are, and they're interested in your property. Let's have a discussion.
So what do they get? Like, so I am totally fascinated by all this. So if a borrower is interested, then part of your service is that you contact the seller for them, and you have pieces that are just ready to go.
Yeah. Two pieces. One is an indication of interest, and it just says someone's interested in a property like yours. The other one is an offer. So if you know what you can spend and you feel confident in making an offer on a property, you're able to do that via our site. Of course, it's a non-binding offer because we're not putting together a purchase and sale agreement with contingencies, et cetera, et cetera. But it's an indication of interest at a price. And we do give a bit of color on pricing. We don't believe that if you are not able to get inside a home, you can accurately price a home. Right. So we give a range. But you're more than welcome to put a price on your offer. And then that seller, when they come back, will see that, and they can accept, decline, or counter. And what we find is it's very interesting to give people those three options. They may counter 10, 15,000 higher. Now, all of a sudden, we're looking at a potential sale of a property that was off market.
Now, is your initial point of contact always through postal mail, or do you have email addresses and phone numbers and other ways to contact people? Because you were talking about an example where you maybe will text a few times and might even meet for coffee. How does it get to that stage?
Sure. We're always sending out mail first if the property is not currently owned by the owner on the site. So if someone hasn't come who owns that property and claimed the property on our site, you can't directly communicate with that owner, so we have to send out mail. And we're finding that depending on the demographic, between 3 and 7% of the people that receive that piece of mail, on average 4.8, are coming back to our site. Once they have claimed their property, then yes, you can just send them a message. We've got over 200 properties, most of which you will not find on Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, or the multiple listing service on our site, over 100 of which are actually in Seattle proper.
So on Zillow, I know most properties are listed in terms of their value, even if they're not on the market. Are you saying that we're talking about properties that are not even they don't even have a Zestimate for?
No, I think Zillow's got a Zestimate for most properties. When I say that they're not on Zillow, I mean that there's not a listing on Zillow by the owner.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, fascinating. So, as you know, we also have some restrictions with our multiple listing service, the Northwest Multiple Listing Service, about not promoting properties that are not on the market. The whole pre-listing thing is very frowned on here. We can be fined or even lose our membership in the MLS. So I'm wondering if have you run into any cases where that's gotten to be a contention or issue?
Yeah, The reason that we call our homes off market is because they're not actively being promoted by a broker. Obviously, the best way to give a home maximum exposure is to put it on the multiple listing service, to hire a real estate agent, and to give a home broad exposure. Some people aren't ready to do that. In the 2 years of research that we did prior to really pushing out this product, we found that although only 1 to 3% of all homes in the U.S. are on the market, we think there's another 8 to 9% of all U.S. homeowners who are thinking about selling and just really need to get a gauge for what the market would bear for their property. So there's a very easy way to do that. You can create a home profile, and instantly, as soon as you type in your address, you can see what number, as Rhonda mentioned earlier, of buyers on our site are interested in a home like yours. Think of it like a Match.com for real estate. We give you a percentage-based match and all those types of things, show you whether or not the buyer's been pre-approved, and then the owner can wade in, so to speak. They dip their toe in and then start to feel the water out a little bit.
Sure.
But we think for you, Jim, as a broker, you've got the opportunity to go to buyers now and say, I understand that there's not enough homes for you to choose from. Let me give you another source or a place that you can go and explore other properties, and we'll reach out to some of those together. Most won't contact us, but some will. And when they do, we can have a discussion about potentially bringing that home onto the market.
Yeah, no, I think that's brilliant in that respect. Anything we can do to broaden the options for buyers, which are so limited right now, is actually a very great value-added service. It's probably the #1 thing we could do for our clients, at least initially, in terms of trying to help them find a home, if that's at all possible. So why don't you talk a little bit, Ryan, about this this other part of your business plan, which is really focused around developers and investors and land use development?
Happy to call it another part of our business. I don't know that I'd call it a part of our business plan because we totally stumbled upon it. But here's how it worked. We put together the consumer platform, and we went in to look at the thousands of people using the service. And what we found was that the most active users of our service were investors, builders, and developers. And when we probed further into that, what we realized was that the largest source for those types of people to find land or to find sites to build on were off-market properties. So it was very natural for them to find this site and then go digging for places that they might be able to build and redevelop. Then what we did was we spent a lot of time with those people and found what types of properties heuristically they were looking for. Then we started to build out some theories and some assumptions and test those, and then we went into the data and we found 14,000 properties that were redeveloped from single-family residences into some sort of commercial multifamily structure. And you might have heard this term before, and I'll do my best to explain it, but then we used machine learning to go and find other properties similar to those profitably redeveloped properties. So what that means is we told this computer learning algorithm or computer algorithm to go out and find things that we think are relevant and then tell us the things that we don't know yet are relevant, but pattern matching would discover. And it ranked every single one of the properties in King County for its redevelopment potential or for their respective redevelopment potential. So now we have this hierarchy. We brought it to builders and we started to ask them, what would you do to redevelop these properties? And we got that information and we built out an advice engine. So now if a property is able to be redeveloped and the engine says to do it, you can click See Advice and it'll tell you exactly what to build to make the most profit on every parcel in King County. And soon we're planning on expanding that.
There goes Alki.
Yeah, I would imagine that there will be a number of neighborhoods that will be affected by that. But I think this is a fascinating use of real estate metadata to massage into a way to be more efficient. Now, just a curiosity as a side note, here in Seattle, you probably know that we're going through a lot of discussion about upzoning, trying to create more densities in certain areas. A lot of resistance to that. I understand that, but we're going to have to figure a way to do somehow all get along together and work this out, at least in some areas, because we have just a huge number of people that are going to be moving into the area. That's almost a done deal. So does this take into consideration those kind of metrics? Are you able to overlay that type of data into your algorithms?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. We met within a week of shipping this product, we met with the city of Seattle to talk about some of the implications of only builders using this data. If builders have their way, they'll do exactly what they're supposed to do when they show up to work every day, which is build more and denser housing in Seattle. That's how they make money, and they're very good at doing that. But we also need to be thoughtful about affordable housing and about sustainability and about long-term growth. If we don't build anymore, then we'll end up like San Francisco, where there's only so many structures, and the people with the most money will pay the most money for those, no matter what condition they're in. I mean, you can find $1.8 million dilapidated homes in San Francisco because you can't develop anything there. But if we build too much, then we won't be able to preserve some of the affordable housing, and we've got to be thoughtful about maintaining the culture in the city and making sure that there's a place for everyone, because we are an ecosystem. We all rely on one another. So, yeah, and I know I can definitely speak for being at the very tail end of the millennial generation. I can speak for a generation of people that's concerned about rising prices and about, affordability. Rhonda, this is probably something you hear about all the time.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it is. I mean, I've got the same buyers that Jim has too, where people have just been having just a real heck of a time, especially if they want to live anywhere near Seattle or where they work. Finding a house, and they're very well qualified. Very well qualified people getting just outbid. So, no, I think this is great with the pre-approval portion of your program or your site. Are buyers able to upload a pre-approval letter, or is it just kind of like taking them for their word that they're pre-approved?
It's take them for their word now, which we would like to see changed. I think it would be great, Rhonda, if you could come in and stamp these buyers and say these are actually pre-approved.
I would love that.
Yeah. That'd be a great service for everyone, because it actually improves the ecosystem's quality from the homeowner's perspective, because they'll see a buyer and then they'll know that that person's invested some time to sit down with you and prove that they've got the capacity to move forward with the purchase.
Maybe you could rate loan officers and have a percentage of pre-approval or pre-approved by this loan officer, or just thought.
Not a bad idea at all.
So we're already at the end of our 20 minutes. As usual, this just gets eaten up like that when we got a great topic, and this is a fantastic new service that's fascinating to everybody. We're going to have to wrap it up. Any news about where the company is going to be making some changes or adding new cities that you want to share?
Yeah, sure. San Francisco is next. We're hoping to turn our first month of profitability next month, so that's exciting. We've got a team of about 13 now, so we'd like to continue to grow, and we've got some really amazing people. So we're very excited about the opportunity to use data to improve real estate for everyone, for the professional, for the consumer, for the investor. And we have some very interesting things coming up in the next few months, which if you go to our site and type in your email address, you'll get an update every time we do something interesting that we think you should know about. And I just want to say thank you so much for the invitation to join you guys today. It's been a pleasure. It did fly by, but had a great time.
Yeah, no, and hopefully our viewers got a little feel for what it is, and they'll go at least check it out and log in. And a lot of this stuff is word of mouth, I tell you. More often than not, people log in and go, oh, that's interesting, not really what I need, and then boom, they tell 2 or 3 other people that really do need it, and it helps people get off the ground. So anyway, thanks again so much, Brian, for joining us, and maybe we'll have you back here sometime soon if you've got all these things rolling out. We'd love to have you back to share those with us once you do. And hopefully this is something you can use too to show customers that you're out there and participating in the local community. So thanks again. Let's see, just a couple of shout outs for you. Again, it's everyhome.co, correct?
That's right.
Okay, and Rhonda, your site is?
MortgagePorter.com.
MortgagePorter.com, and mine is Seattle-realestate.com. Folks, thanks again for joining Seattle Real Estate Chat. We're here every other week. This is our first episode, actually, 2016, but we plan to come on strong this year and have lots of guests like Brian to share things that are going on in the real estate community of the Seattle area that hopefully will give you some insights and maybe help you in your buying or selling process. Thanks so much for joining us, and have a great day.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.